What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G. My name is Dalibor, and this is Tech Tuesday. Today, we are going to talk about the best free video editors that you will be using in 2021. Coming right up. First, I do want to give a quick shout out to Lucas Ackerman, who did this piece of Wolverine here. It is one of my favorite characters. Excellent series, but B, he's one of my favorite internet artists because he has been doing some fantastic stuff. I commissioned him back in the day for some client work, and since then I've just seen him grow and improve as an artist, and he just produces really classic feeling X-Men art. So if you are an X-Men fan, check out I think it's Art by Lucas on Facebook. And he's got a bunch of stuff. He sells t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. So check him out. That's just a quick aside because I have him on the background. So the way this is going to work is I'm just going to talk about two pieces of software today, and I've got them chapter marked down below. So make sure you click on that if you do want to switch just to watch them directly. I want to give you a quick intro before I get into it, though. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that, as you can see here on the desktop, I tried several editors. So we have Filmora X or 10, I don't know, VSDC, we have Movavi, OpenShot, or I guess we have two VSDCs, whatever. Oh, that's the video capture portion. So the problem most of these have, which will be, well, these two are free to try. You can export with a, what's it called? Watermark. That's no go. I'm going to possibly, if you guys want me to take a deep dive into them, do like a month of editing with them and talk about them, price point to value to usability, let me know. Drop a comment down below and I will get into that. I think this one right now, I think it's $59.99 normally. Right now it's $39.99. Filmora, it's $79.99 permanent license, or there's a $59.99 a year subscription model. So let me know if you want me to get into those. I'm cool with buying those and just going deep on them. OpenShot is a super basic. Couldn't even get it to scrub through 1080p footage. Rough. It was a rough one. It was very disappointing. I had hopes, but it is no bueno. I think if you're going to be maybe like just super cutting together a couple small things, maybe. But other than that, it's not a recommend. Absolutely. The reason I did these, by the way, I don't know why I didn't bring this up first. This is what comes up when you search free video editor or free video editing software on Google or Bing. I'm sorry, Microsoft Bing. Weird rebrands, man. VSDC is another one that came up in that, and that one is, and I'll show you guys real quick. That one is much more featured, and it's capable. It is, however, I think you can actually edit and everything without buying. There is an upgrade for some additional stuff, including hardware acceleration. My thing is, yeah, sure. It is prohibitively not intuitive. I've been doing editing for 6 years now, longer really, but like actively and consistently for 6 years. And this is imposing. This is really, truly imposing. Here, we'll drop a video in real quick. This is a drone shot. It's 2.5K, so I get it. It takes a minute for it to process it. It works fine. There's just a lot. It's a little clunky in the how to edit and how to do stuff. So like once you're on the project, you got to go up here. Some things have keyboard shortcuts, other things don't. I have yet to find a way to change keyboard shortcuts or options. Maybe is there a keyboard shortcuts option? It doesn't look. Editor options maybe. Nope. Yeah, so there's just not, it's prohibitively not user intuitive. And I would not. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could be done with this, just from the kind of what's the word I'm looking for, like fine grained control over everything. Look, you even pull LUTs, mofo. But like, see, like that's interesting. You got LUTs rather, and then you could adjust it. There's movement, there's a lot that could be done. I love the little aim guy as the animations icon. That's fantastic. I think there could be a lot to do here. I'm going to explore kind of what people have done with it. I am never going to edit with this, though. It is just, as experienced as I am, there is just too many things happening. But I mean, like, I think there's possibility here. Like, look at this. You got masking, you got like super, like, blending and masking, super cool stuff. There's a lot of potential here. I will not be using it. So the first honorary mentions that I want to talk about are your built-in computer or phone editor. If you shot something that's short, you just need to trim it. You just need to throw a filter on it. You can do it right from Windows. So we'll take the short one here. We will open with Photos. And there's a little edit drop here. We'll say trim. We'll trim it down. Like, right, we have our trim options here. And you can save as. Fun fact, if you hit edit, create, and do add text, it takes you to the actual editor where you can also trim. So I don't know why it just doesn't do this to begin with, regardless. So yeah, you've got editing here. Again, trimming. You've got text options, so that's kind of fun. You've got filters. Like, you could drop some quick color on it. So for your basic, super basic, like you have a 10-minute thing, you really want it to be 5, you can bring it down. You're like, I didn't need the back half of that. I didn't need the front half of that. I didn't need me setting up the camera or whatever portion of it you didn't need. You could use that. If you are on an Apple device, you have your iMovie. iMovie is included with all Apple devices. I don't have it, obviously, on this. This is a Windows computer, but I have used it. I find it limiting when you want to do more than 2 audio tracks. So if you have 2 videos and you want to, overlay them, and then you want to drop a music track, you can't. It'll only do one or 2, maybe 2 audio tracks. It's just very prohibitive in that. So again, on a basic level, it'll give you obviously more tools and features than the Windows one. You have titles, you have all stuff that, it's got fun, fancy stuff. I've edited vlogs with it before when I used to have my MacBook. So it's definitely usable. It is not the subject of today's video. That is going to be Davinci Resolve and Hitfilm Express. Those are the 2 that we will be talking about today, starting with Davinci. Right out the gate, like I said, I have Davinci and Hitfilm installed. We'll open up Davinci first. I'm going to stick to a single window interface. You can do Davinci in a dual window interface. My downfall, right out the gate, a downfall I have with Davinci personally is that you cannot rearrange the workspace. That's huge for me when I use Premiere. I move stuff around. I have it customized the way I want to use it, where I want my preview window to be, and I have my timeline just on one window. With Davinci, it basically has preset workspaces, and that's what you get. There's no way to manually readjust. You can resize, but like only to a certain point, and then that offsets other things. So we're just going to start a new project here. We're going to go ahead and we'll just click on title project. There shouldn't be anything in there. We're going to skip the beta. I am using the 17 beta currently, so we're going to skip the download. I think I am on beta 2. I don't think I've updated to 3 yet even, about build 7. So whatever that is, I think it's beta 2. Anyway, so what I've decided to do is use something that a lot of people talk about is rough to edit. It's difficult to control, and a lot of times difficult to scrub through, and that's DJI drone footage. We're just going to drop in a couple here. Drop these couple night shots in. I'm just going to drop them in here, and I missed it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Okay, and this is another thing, right? If you drop it, if you go over the timeline, it just puts it into the timeline, and then it like also adds it up there. But then if you do not let go in the timeline, it then doesn't put it in. So you have to physically get to that actual section. So like if I wanted to add this JPEG, I have to make sure that I put it in here, because if I put it in here and then I get off the timeline, see how it disappears? Like I have to make it to here, or I have to let go when I'm on the timeline. The problem with this is I don't like dropping straight on a timeline for the most part, unless I know exactly what I'm doing and I've already edited. I'm just dropping like an overlay or something specific. But let's just take a look at the footage and how it handles it. Now, as far as editing, I personally have had no issues with this. It handles multi-track very well. It's got built-in titles and stuff. Again, this could just be a beta thing. I have had a issue with fusion titles. On the last vlog, I tried to use fusion titles. I tried to use a couple fusion effects, and it did not work at all. It just wouldn't render. So take that as you will. That just could be because I'm running the beta. I accept as an adult. I accept that beta is going to have issues. So, but I just wanted to bring that up because I don't know if other people have had that same issue. So you're going to drop it in. Obviously, we have no audio, but I just want to see kind of how it works. Now, I have turned off the live scrubbing. Oh, no, I haven't. There it is. So it's not great, but if you let it catch up, seems to be doing pretty well. Now, I have a Ryzen 2600X. I have 32 gigs of RAM. Do I have 32 gigs of RAM? No, I have 6. No, I have 32 gigs of RAM for sure. I have 32 gigs of RAM, and I have a 580, RX 580. So I have a pretty decent setup for this. So I would expect it to be able to scrub through this. But obviously you can see that it is not perfect by any stretch. And this is just the mini footage. So it's the 2.5K or whatever. It's not even 4K footage. So there is that issue. I personally have never had a problem with that. I am a patient editor. Like I don't ever try to just like cut. So I don't need to be able to just like blast through scrubs. I'm okay with just letting this play and be like, all right, I want to cut it here. I'm not a big fan of the keys being different. Some things it will not let you change the keys for. For instance, I think the blade, or I don't know, one of the things that I tried changing, it was just like you can't. This key is in use, and it's in use by something that you can't unbind. You can't unbind this key from the other thing that it's in use for, so you can't bind it to this specific thing. So yeah, it's just a matter of, all right, so like I like this cut, boom, rise, and like right before we go forward, so right here, let's say, boom, and that's the other thing, like you just got to get used to the difference in the key controls, if you use keys at all. I personally use keys all the time. Big fan of the editing process, as far as, especially for a free product, it's fantastic. To be very clear, by far, if you are starting out, this is what you should be using, without question. This has literally everything you could possibly need to create a video. There's just nothing else around that. Like Fusion is all your effects. It's effectively your After Effects. I don't even really know what to do with this stuff, because that's the range it's in. It's in the motion graphics effects side of things, and I just have not spent any time in that. Like I said, the editing is fantastic. Color grading, without compare. Even here, there are some things that I just don't even know what they do. But like the basic stuff, your curves, all that stuff, fantastic. Obviously, this is literally the industry color grading tool, so the color grading is going to be like above par and above anything else. Fairlight, I have very little experience with, because I do not spend a lot of time in editing audio, like mixing tracks and stuff like that. I just don't. The stuff that I do use, for instance, the remix feature in Adobe Audition, I haven't figured out how to do in this yet. I haven't really found any way to do the remix where you can take a track and let the software extend it and kind of blend it together so that it makes sense as a longer, like, you take a 2-minute track, make it a 9-minute song, and put that as kind of your background music. I just have not found a way to do that outside of Adobe Audition. That's just what it is. It may be possible to do it in here. I just have not found a way to do it yet, and I haven't taken the time to figure it out. I really just use this for vlog editing, just because I want to be familiar with the interface and be able to use it. The Deliver tab is where you would export, and I am just not a big fan of this, very honestly. I don't like having to watch the video as I export. I just don't. That's why I've shrunk this. Even when I edited last time, I shrunk it even smaller. I think I was at 6% or whatever, 6.2%, just so I wouldn't have to watch it, because it was just there. It's just there, and it just stares at you. As far as editing times, it's no slower. In fact, I would say it might even be a little faster than Premiere is in some cases. My like 22 minute or whatever, 23 minute vlog took probably 9 minutes to render. Now, granted, not a ton of effects, not a ton of like crazy changes or anything, but I did have a little bit of drone footage. I did have a little bit of 4K footage. But it handled all that fine without issue. So I think overall, if you are just starting out, Davinci Resolve is absolutely by far the place to start. Yeah, there's just no way around that. No way around it. Now, next we're going to talk about Hitfilm. Hitfilm, I have a little bit more of a mixed relationship with. Now, I will say right out the gate here, I did spend $69 on a special deal thing that they had to get a bunch of. That's why I have check marks over here. These are all add-ons, just a bunch of stuff that I kind of just wanted to have access to when I did want to edit. LUTs and tool, like, 3D particles, stuff like that, just like little stuff that I wanted to play around with when I do get a chance to kind of just really go in and do a lot of editing and have fun. Because what I've seen, like the stuff I've seen that people have done with this software is incredible. And I think my apprehension towards it and my issues that I have with like how I edit and how long it takes for me to edit within this program is primarily because I'm so used to Premiere. And this is again another situation where you have your effects in the same place as you do your editing. So we're gonna go ahead and just create a new project real quick. It is much more familiar to the Premiere layout. It is something that you can float panels, you can close panels. Like it's again much more closer to the Premiere interface. So we're gonna take those same clips and we're just gonna see kind of how it handles it. Again, you guys know my setup here. But this feels much easier to me, honestly. I will say I put in because the project I'm working on in this now, well, I was working on, but I stopped, and I'll explain why in a second, was the latest podcast. The latest podcast, I put it in. It took an inordinate amount of time to render the waveforms. If you have done editing, when you put in a video file that has audio into an editor, it takes a moment to kind of map out the waveforms to be able to show you kind of what to edit. This took an inordinate amount of time. In fact, I had to close it, reopen it, and then it finally finished. Like probably 10 minutes. Granted, I mean, it's a 2-hour podcast, but Premiere does that much faster. Davinci does that much faster. I mean, like I put in probably 2-3 hours worth of footage into that last vlog, and it definitely did not take that long to get all the audio rendered. So it was just kind of, again, could just be a weird hiccup, but want to throw that out there. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this right here. Yeah, so this same thing happens in Premiere. If the sequence is different than the settings. Now here you're gonna see some controls that you might not fully understand, but this is for more of the motion tracking and the effects. But actually this would be fun to play with, because you could, ooh, I wonder if you could motion track while moving. Ooh, see, I have ideas. I have ideas within this. Where do we go? Let's see here. Pre-render. And this is the issue I had also while editing the podcast, because the podcast was recorded in 720, and it took me a minute, and it's still taking me a minute to figure out how to sequence. It's in sequence settings. Sequence settings. Nope. Oh boy. File project settings. And see, this is kind of where some of my stuff is. That's that.
Eventually.
There it is. Crazy, right? So I gotta zoom out here. 75%, I think it's gonna be. Is it 70? No, it's like 72. That's silly. So right there, the interface is just not what I'm used to. and therefore it's more difficult. But I imagine if you were to use this on a daily basis, it'd be much easier for you to find all this stuff. So this is all in the controls tab when you are on the project. So there's, let's see, there's that. Yeah, it's gonna depend on which clip you're on, of course. Because right here we're zoomed in again, and then if I go over here, 72, we're zoomed out again. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So now that I have it, it's second nature, if you will. But the editing itself is fine. Some of the controls are pretty much the same. Like I said, you'll see the previews here are taking a while to render, and the scrubbing is pretty solid. Like, honestly, even a little bit better than Davinci. Now, as I was saying, this has the effects aspects built into the program, and that's why you see this these tools here. This is to control movement, to control motion, tracking, all sorts of different stuff that can all be found in the effects. It's a huge community. They have tons of tutorials. It's learnable for sure. Like I said, I have just now, like in the last 3 days, gotten into editing in this again. I've used it to edit in the past. I actually showed my wife how to edit on it when she was doing her videos. So like it's definitely not like a super complex thing, but it has a ton of potential. Like I said, on that home screen, back to home, there it is, back to home. Look at this stuff. Let's see, doing sequence, there we go. So it shows you how to do it. Looks like it's in Hitfilm Pro, but I like their interface way better.
To these characters, I have the bevel geometry effect, which has to be applied directly onto a text layer. This makes it look a little bit more 3D and gives it
It even tells you how to make the text. Crazy, animating lines. This is all controls, all stuff within it, just to see like what all this stuff, creating circles, all within the software, all just within the software. So you got compositing, like everything is in this. Everything is in it. It's fantastic. Like I said, it's just a matter of learning. I'm just so set into Premiere that I'm personally not going to be recreating the Dune opening sequence. Although I'm not going to lie, I for a challenge, I might. If you guys want to see me take on one of the projects that they do in Hitfilm, drop a comment down below, and I'm always willing to take a challenge. So the final thing I want to talk about is the export. Again, you have your export tab as opposed to just like an export pop-up window like you do in Premiere. You've got presets as far as settings, but you can change what it is, and then you will, it says to queue and export, click the export area, export content area, which is right here, and we'll just say export contents, right? Boom, and it's going to be starting right there. We're going to suspend it, and we are going to remove the tasks. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It does also have a little preview of the export. Not my favorite thing. I just feel like it reduces the graphics ability, and just like it playing video while rendering video just seems to be, to me seems to be like a gimme of where the power is going. And of course, both are available on Windows as well as Mac OS, so that's available to you, whichever platform you're on. Nothing for Linux users. A couple of the other ones, the VSDC and I think also the OpenShot are both available on Linux. I actually even think Filmora was as well, if memory serves. But if you guys want me to check that out, just in Windows or even on Linux, I will do my best. I will run a virtual machine of Linux on one of these two computers, because they are the more capable computers, or maybe my laptop. But yeah, definitely I'll give that a shot. Make sure you drop a comment down below for that if you are interested. Otherwise, those are the two, right? If you are starting video editing, if you are wanting to switch out of Adobe's system, like I said before, I am paying $49.99 a month for their suite, and there is definitely something to be said about, what is that, $600 a year? Man, definitely something to be said about that, right? That could go towards other things. That could go towards a better camera in a couple years. If there was a time to switch, now when incomes are low is the time to switch. So definitely check those two out if you are looking for a video editing software. That's going to be it for this one. If you have any questions, comments, drop them down below, and I will see you in the next one.